Okay, I'd like to call the Board of Public Works meeting. Are you ready, Dan? Yeah. Meeting to order. Clerk Kramer, roll call, or write the time down that started, and then roll call, please.
Alderman Taylor. Alderman Sevenik. Alderman Langdon.
Here.
Alderman Schmidt. Alderman Ted Grady. Alderman Nichols. All are present with the absence of Alderman Tom Grady and Alderman Rapella.
Thank you. Next one is to approve the minutes from the Board of Public Works on 12/6/21. Alderman Taylor.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as read by the chairman.
Have a motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Grady. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay, minutes are approved. Next one is the discussion / action items. And this one's for the, Alderman Taylor.
I guess I left my light on. I guess we're going to hear from Corey on this,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Yes, we can. Okay, so we will do the motion later. So Corey, Director Corey, would you like to start speaking on
No.
this deal? Okay, thank you. And also Department Head Laura, so you can chime in also, so, okay.
So in September, we brought some aesthetic amenities for the Racine Street Bridge. And part of that was some underdeck lighting. Looking at that, we had some conversations with the DOT contractor prior to that meeting, and I was kind of given the thought that, yeah, we'll be able to work with you and come up with a concept and give you a price to do this, and thought it was fairly easy. Couple meetings in, we started discussing it, and basically they kind of backtracked that and said, tell us what you want and we'll give you a price. So since then, we've been kind of working with, we reached out to Faith Technologies. They indicated they weren't interested in helping on this project at this time. We reached out to KL Engineering. We have some experience with KL Engineering, doing electrical engineering on some other projects and stuff for us. And then AECom is the consultant that did some of the work for the bridge project. At this point, we looked at both of the proposals that they submitted. There is a significant difference between the two of them. At this point, we feel that KL, even though it is higher with the maximum of the $22,428, because it is more or less a time and material quote, we feel that we can come in lower than the other proposal. We can hopefully work with them, try to do some of the legwork ourselves as far as concepts and things that we're potentially interested in. But as far as trying to come up with ideas and things of that nature, I don't know what's out there. I don't know what's current, what's not current, things of that nature. So that's why we're looking for this help from them with that. And then hopefully we can generate 3 to 6 options and then bring that forward to the council for the ultimate approval of move forward with this concept, and it's going to be an estimate cost of X.
Go ahead, Director Laura, do you have add to that?
I was just going to add. Sorry about that. I was just going to add as well to what Corey had stated. When he said we feel that we would save cost, with the time and materials, we can save some cost to kind of reel in what they're doing and control what they're doing, and staff is able to kind of help that. But then also the end product with the full engineering, some of the items that KL was looking at were going to involve some level of engineering that is going to be reflected down the road that maybe AECom wasn't going to be doing at the forefront. So they're going to be getting more in depth with some items that would reflect in the final engineering product, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to point that out.
Anything else to add to that? Nope, good, okay, thank you for that explanation. Alderman Severnick.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I guess for either Laura or Corey, when I first opened this up, I was a little shocked at the price. I'm thinking, oh, this is a good price to have the lights put in. No, that's not even, this is just to look at it and to decide the engineering and then you'll come in with a price. And just for the public's sake, we're already talking over $22,000. So, but as Alderman Taylor always reminds us, that this is a project that's going to be around for the next 40 to 50 years, and now's the time to do it right and not make mistakes later and say, gee, I wish we would have done this or that. So I called the mayor today about this a little bit and told him my concerns, and I don't know if he had gotten back to you that I would be directing these questions, but is there any way you could possibly have an idea of what type of price we're looking at? And I know it's hard to give me an answer because we don't really know exactly what we're looking for, but we're looking for what's being done throughout other communities. They have, St. Patrick's Day, it's the bridge is green, or Packer Day or something, or 4th of July, red, white, and blue. Those were old technologies. I'm just wondering, have we advanced since then? This is a brand-new bridge. Can we get the best bang for our buck in the future? So I guess I gave you a few questions. Can you help me with that? Because I'm ultimately going to be one of 8 people that have to make that call.
No, so we do understand it is a lot of money, and we agree. This was sticker shock to ourselves also. Yes, this 22,000, the other proposal is quite a bit less. But again, this is an hourly one where the other one was a lump sum. So if you look further down in the proposal, they kind of list out their hourly rates.
So it could actually come under that.
Correct. So just as an example, their highest rate is in that 150, 160 range. I don't anticipate those people working on this project with us, okay? But let's just use that as an example. Comparing it to the other quote, we're talking like 110-ish hours of work before we start exceeding the other proposal. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, that's quite a bit. And I think we have a general idea of what we're looking at, right? We're looking for some lights, we're looking for the availability to do some color changing and things like that. We've talked about trying to put this on the bridge after the fact. I'm looking at it a little bit different, putting this conduit and running this conduit with some of the other electrical systems. So this conduit is in the sidewalk, it's in the parapets, and then it's daylighting out of the bridge, and it's a cleaner look, and it's going to look like it was meant to be there, not an afterthought. Okay. So is an afterthought a bad thing? No, not necessarily, but if we can try and avoid that, let's try and avoid it. It's going to protect the wires long term. It's going to do a lot of things for us. It's hard to say what the overall engineering cost is going to be. I want to kind of go on a limb and say that I think this 22,000 is going to be closer to the final expense of the concept ideas and the actual design. That's hard for me to say because I don't know what exactly is going to be in the design, but That's kind of my gut feeling, but I can't guarantee
And
that.
now
you
the
know,
city
so.
council proposed, is it $500,000?
Correct.
Where are we
Roughly, we're
budget-wise if we chose to do this?
slightly under 200,000 left.
Okay.
That was some lights, some brickwork, I believe, some other minor things. I think it's slightly more than 190 is where we are.
All right.
We did have a quote from roughly 2014 for some lights on this, and that was roughly 95,000 for the lights. For both bridges, I believe for the Racine and the Tago Bridge. Right now, we're only looking at the Racine Bridge. But again, some of that's gonna depend on what we get into as far as how much lights, what is pricing done? You know, I have no idea on that, and that's where we don't deal with this, and yes, it's a lot of money to help us figure out concepts, but I don't do this, so, you know, we're looking for some assistance if this is the ultimate direction that the council wants to go with the lighting.
And at this point, and this is just my personal feeling, is that we would be making a big mistake if we didn't follow through and look at this point. So I'll continue to support this, but I also am going to support best financial way of handling it too. So, all right, thank you.
Director Laura?
I did also want to reiterate, Alderman Sevenick, what you had stated. From a staffing perspective, we are going to do whatever we can to try and keep those costs at a minimum and, you know, keep in close coordination with whomever we do select and do our due diligence to try and keep the costs low, but obviously give the best product that we can. But I would reiterate what Corey also stated, that I think this is the best time to do it. We can get the conduit put in with the bridge. We're not trying to drill into new pavement next year. It's just going to create a better final end product and probably be better maintenance for us down the road as well.
Excellent. Oops, I thought I drew.
Alderman Taylor?
Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I'd like to say this original idea came from someone in the gallery tonight. Tim Jacobson brought this forward some years past, and that's when the $90,000 quote came out around that time, and then we were toying with the idea of putting in a new bridge. So it's kind of worked its way up and been patient with that, and this council approved the amenities for the new bridge, so certainly the money's available. This afternoon, I watched them set 7 beams up there. They were 186 feet long, and they're 6.5 feet tall. I just showed Stan a picture, and it's just amazing that they're almost 7 feet tall. And just think of the field surface that we can project on that bridge with those lights. And compared to other bridges, they may have beams that tall or something. These are almost 7 feet tall. They left Janesville at 3 a.m. this morning, got here at 7 o'clock this evening. So what we're going to be connecting those beams to, or the lighting to, I agree with Corey. Let's figure out from an engineering standpoint, are we going to mount something on the side of those huge I-beams? Or are we going to put something into the structure that, where we only have to, you know, wire it to an outlet or something underneath that? So this is a perfect time for that. These 7-foot tall girders are concrete, and so there'll be ways to mount things on them or near them. So I think it's a wonderful project. I watch different news stations at night, and Green Bay has one, and Oshkosh, and Manitowoc, and it's very colorful. We have a beautiful river here for it to reflect upon, and I think it just adds as you can see from those photos when we started tonight, how our city is starting to really show some beautiful lighting, and this would only enhance that project. So I'm in favor of moving forward with this. And I got to say, tonight, it's nice to see everybody's got a microphone with the department heads that we're not passing. So, thank you.
Alderman Nichols?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for thinking about this as being part of the project and not as an afterthought. I really liked hearing that, so thank you for that. There has been a lot of conversation dedicated to the engineering elements of this project, which I fully support and understand that those will be very important. What considerations will be given to the aesthetic and design elements as this moves along? How will those things be considered?
Director Laura?
It's not
As far as
red.
lighting,
Okay. Yes.
so that is what we're hoping to get from them, that would come to you before we do the final engineering on the lighting. So they would come back with, it looks like KL is proposing to assemble some photometrics. So we're going to have an idea as to, you know, are we looking at a flood lighting? Are we looking at, and I don't want to call it rope lighting because that's not what we're, you know, it's not going to be rope lighting, but a band type of lighting. Those are kind of the options that we're anticipating getting from them. So I think it's going to have more information that's going to follow as we get through this first step, that we'll be able to come back and present to you and say, here are 3 to 6 choices. What are you looking for as a group?
Okay. I'm a strong proponent of 3 to 4 because 6 can be really overwhelming and
Agreed.
present some, just some complications there. And then can you help me understand photometrics better? What does that mean?
I would imagine that it would be looked at as far as your luminescence, what kind of range are these lights going to have? Obviously, we're going to have to meet building code and things like that. You get reflectivity off of the water, so that's a consideration. So yes, there are a number of things that are going to be going into the photometrics. How far can they be seen? How far are they going to project? Are they going to impact neighboring properties? So that'll all have to be considered as they look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. One more item I did want to point out as we were discussing here, and I just wanted to point it out for the record, that from our last presentation that we had given you a few months ago, the DOT project total numbers right now are at $300,381.05. So it leaves us at this point, and that's where we were estimated at $199,618.95. So very close to $200,000 that we have remaining for whatever else we have left.
Thank you. Alderman Taylor?
I think it'd be in our best interest to contact Department of Public Works and the other cities and ask them, you know, anytime you've been through the process, there's always pluses and minuses. So I think the other 3-4 cities would be really serve us well to talk with them. And also, I agree with Alderman Nichols on the photometrics. We have to be able to control the brightness of that. I think if you go down Highway 47, you'll see some digital signs that at midnight you have to put sunglasses on to go past them, and other ones are, they're just fine. So we're going to be able to have to control that factor of the lighting. And Mr. Chairman, I was going to say Alderman Jacobson, but former Superintendent Jacobson has some photos. I know with the council meeting, we're not allowed to accept anything during the meeting, but can we accept those photos just now to look at them?
What are they photos of? What are they photos of? What are they photos of?
Pardon me?
Oh, old bridge lights, sure. Okay,
Some of these lights, I believe we had in the September, packet. They were obviously blown up and things of that nature, but a lot of the pictures that he has, we've already shared, but
These are the, back in 2013 or 14, when started the concept. There's a couple of pictures of close-ups of the lights on the side of the bridge. I can't tell you how I got it done. They're the Oshkosh lights. And the last three pictures, when I came back, are the Racine Street Bridge, and you'll see the difference. But these are LED panels, and they're a soft light. So a lot of the things that you're concerned about should be taken care of.
Turn this microphone on, for Mark.
A lot of the things that you're worried about should be taken care of because they're a soft light. And when I contacted the manufacturer at that time, the salesman worked on the Oshkosh project, but that business went out of business. That's old technology back then, he said. So what I was talking about back then is probably old technology. But they're LEDs, and the color change is in the hundreds of thousands. And at that time, he said the mayor would be able to control what those lights do from his office. If you want to,
He's already got control of the square.
but he said you can change the colors by holiday, by music, by whatever you want. And my first impression was it would really add ambiance to the boating community in Menasha. And to give you a little history, we first were going to have it in as part of the bridge project, but then the state cut the amenities out of their budget. So then the file came back to me, and after I was not working anymore. So we were going to try a fundraising project, but at that time, the Boys and Girls Club was out there doing fundraising, so we kind of didn't approach that. So when the amenities were by the council money was set aside for that, then it was time to hand it back to the Director of Public Works and run it up the flagpole. But I think it's a project that will really, like I said, add some ambiance to our waterfront and the boating community and Menasha as a whole. And if any of you watched the Packer game Sunday night, some of their overview shots of Green Bay, their two drawbridges had pretty much what we're looking at. But I think it's going to be neat. It can be neat. And it's a little surprised about Faith Technology because they're the ones that I worked with originally, and they're the ones that gave us the proposal back then. So, but you can keep those photographs, and hopefully it helps you get an idea or concept. And I think, like I was talking to Corey, maybe a phone call to the city of Green Bay and see how they went through it. But I think those were up since this got started here. So good luck. And if you need help, give me a holler. I got a couple of connections for fundraising if we have to go that way, and we'll do her up. But I think it'll really add to, like you said, to the view of Menasha. Thank you.
I think also
thank you, Tim.
that we delayed the process here, and technology has just exploded with this type of lighting, so I think it's to our advantage, and maybe even to our financial advantage that this new technology is out there. Thank you.
Alderman Sevenick?
Thank you, Chair. If we're done discussing this, then I'd like to make a motion that we go along with staff's recommendation and approve the approval of the KL Engineering proposal with a maximum cost of $22,428 for the Racine Street Bridge underdeck lighting evaluation.
Motion by Alderman Taylor, Stevinik. Second by Alderman Taylor. Any further discussion? Seeing no one, Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. And the final one is the adjournment. Do I have a motion? Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Schmidt for adjournment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Nay. We're adjourned. Thank you.